Hello, hello, welcome to our next episode. And today our guest is Lizzy Freudmann. She is expert in marketing and in decision making. So today we will speak about the nature of decision making. And first, of course, I would like to greet and introduce Lizzy. And here we go, Lizzy. Hi.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here. I'll give
You are
you
most welcome.
and I'll give you and the audience a little bit of background around me. My name is Lizzy Freudmann. My business is called One More Thing. I do strategic marketing. I have a special interest in behavioral economics, which is, as Elena said, the like how people make decisions and what motivates them to make decisions, and how sometimes people will make decisions that are not in their best interest. But how as marketers we can factor that into our strategies for ourselves and our clients. Um, I have an MBA and I also have a master's in global business. And I did my undergraduate studies at Brown University in American studies. So I have a background in humanities and business and cross cultural business. It's made for some really interesting opportunities to collaborate and meet interesting folks. Um, I love working with clients who are really trying to have a meaningful relationship with their customers, with their clientele. So they really want to understand who they are and what motivates them and where their business, my clients' business, fits into the lives of their customers or clients. What problem does it solve for them? So that's a little bit about me and how I work, and a little bit of background that hopefully will give you some context as we talk about the rest of this.
Yeah, of course, Lizzie. Thank you for introducing yourself. So let's speak about our topic that is decision making. So why you choose? Like, just wanted to know, like, why you choose to study this subject? Was
Well,
there something in your life that brought you to that decision?
it's a great question, and the answer is, yeah, I do think it. So I mentioned briefly that I see a lot of people making decisions that are not in their best interest, or not in the best interest of society overall. And like a really good example of it is, if you go to the gas station and you fill up your car, you have a choice between like three levels of gas, usually in the United States, right? There's like the cheap version of the gas, and there's like the medium version of the gas, and then there's the expensive version of the gas. And this is all like a very shortcut example. There are different reasons that people choose which one to use. But a lot of times, what I notice is that people go with the cheapest option, and that cheapest option frequently is not the best one for their car. So it's the least expensive today, but it's the one that will cost the most down the line because it will cause damages to the car that need to be repaired or the need for the car to be replaced sooner. And, sometimes we make these trade offs, but I'm very interested in why we choose to make these trade offs and under what circumstances. And if we consistently go for the cheapest choice, that will mean that we have to spend more money down the line, buy something again, or um, deal with damage caused by the thing that's cheap. It is really interesting. And we're looking at this global climate crisis right now, and people really need to make some different choices about how they engage in what they consume so that we can all have a planet to live on. And that's really interesting to me. So I started getting more and more intrigued by what seems to me to be the very short term thinking um, of human behavior.
Yeah, that is interesting. So, what did you discover? Why people make these choices, and what makes them to decide that way?
Well, there's a lot of reasons. I'm not a psychologist. I'm a marketing person. So I'm sure that like a psychologist can offer you all kinds of insight that I cannot. But um, sometimes people are going to make that choice because of their constraints. Like they just don't have the money available to them to buy the better option. As a marketer, if I'm looking at that audience, I feel like that's an opportunity for education that says, okay, you can't do this today, but here's why you might want to make a different choice tomorrow and buy the thing from me or my client or a better thing or a different thing or whatever. Sometimes people are just uninformed, and there's another opportunity for education. And sometimes people are really just focused on their immediate need, and they don't think beyond that. And like maybe there's some amount of people that can't be reached, and that's okay. Like we want to focus on like the education and the nurture of the folks that we feel might benefit from this information in the future. I also think that understanding why people choose to make short-term thinking decisions helps us as marketers and working with our clients say, like, this part of the community may never want your product. And so don't bother trying to reach them. It's going to be not good spend because it's not a good fit. So you may like advertise to them, and you may, invest in going to trade shows to talk to them, and they're never going to see the value. So you want to really focus on the segment of people that do see the value, even if it's inaccessible to them at this moment. And think about the life of a consumer as more than just individual interactions. Think of it as like, once you get someone interested in your brand, how do you move them from being interested into being a buyer?
Yeah, so would you like to share some tips for people who are listening to us from this marketologist perspective?
Yeah, really invest in time in learning who your audience is. I think we all have a lot of um, guesses, but when you interact with them, do some strategic testing. Try to figure out, like, is this really what they want from my brand? Potentially, if you have the opportunity to invest in market research, qualitative market research is a great way to get feedback on what your brand means to a person and what they feel about it and why they may or may not make a purchase decision, which is really important, because we make all these assumptions about why people don't want to buy the premium version or the better version, or maybe why they don't want to buy the clearly better, cheaper version. We have like all these assumptions, but we really need to hear from the consumers and make sure that they know that we're listening to them. That would be one thing. And if you can't do like a strategic market research, because that's like cost prohibitive to you, do some social listening. Listen online to the comment sections, what people are saying about, if not your brand, similar brands, similar products, and what they feel about them. Because you really, like, people make decisions a lot based on what they feel, in as much as they make decisions about what they think. So I would say constraints and feelings are really important here. I think those are some good tips.
Yeah, yeah, thank you for sharing. So tell us what makes you different from other people who do marketing and help entrepreneurs and business owners with this.
Okay, so what makes me different? I am the first B Corp in the state of Louisiana. That means that I went through this third-party certification that like audited all my finances, all of the way that I do business, who my vendors are, to make sure that I'm operating my business in accordance with like best practices for people, purpose, and planet. And that's really important to me. It informs the way that I think about markets. I like to think about marketing less as a one-way transaction where people are purchasing a service or a good, and to think about it more as an ecosystem. So if someone's selling you this, they use it in their life in this way, which helps them do this. And then everybody's sort of interacting with each other, and there's multiple ways we can support each other. Um, I'm really big on partnerships and a collaborative approach to business. So instead of thinking of it as um, competing for clients, I think of like, how can we collaborate to solve a problem? And um, that's been some of the most fun I've had, is being able to share that mindset with a range of different types of businesses and bring that approach into the projects that we work on.
Okay, great. So if there would be three things, that major things that you think that it will help entrepreneurs to get better results and achieve their goals with marketing, what would be those three things?
So it really does vary where you are in your business and what you're going for. But I think that when I get frustrated or when I get stuck, I go back to a couple of really core things. One is look around me and see who seems interesting and who is doing things that I want to be part of. And to think of ways that my skills as a marketer could help them do their job better, and reach out and try to form connections. So be very engaged in your community, and that might be your local community physically, or it might be an online community of people who have um, similar businesses or a similar interest or whatever. Like, find people who are doing things that you feel are interesting, and look for ways to expand that and include yourself in what they're doing. Um, on a similar note, I would say stay curious and be curious, as curious as you can about academic things, academic information, the latest research, the latest science about marketing, because marketing is an old field, right? Like as old as the hills. We have like ancient, in ancient ruins, we see signs of like signs and marketing materials. So it's an old business, but it changes all the time as new research comes out. So don't be stuck in your ways. Continue to explore what opportunities are out there. And then another thing I would say is, gosh, there's so many, and picking one more is hard. Is, I would say, um, don't get stuck doing something because somebody told you that that's the way you should be doing it. The best system is a system that works for you. So if someone's saying you have to post 10 times on YouTube a week and buy this much money in Instagram ads and do advertisements, or go on the radio or whatever else, if you can't do it and also run your business, don't. Find something that's like a system that works for you, and don't beat yourself up for not being able to um, follow all of the best practices and those rules.
Yeah, I think that usually people who just start business and they put themselves in this ocean of information and different offers, and there are so many people reach out to them, and everybody offers their system that it is the best or very good. And I think it is initially so difficult to understand exactly like what way you have to take, and people might think that they need different systems, and then they just get into different systems and coaches and they get overwhelmed. So, what would you recommend people who just start business, who never were before in this like building their own business? Maybe they changed from corporate or just started after universities. So, what you would suggest them how to find, as you said, that one system that works for them? Because there are so many different, and because
Yeah.
they don't have experience, it may be not even easy for them to understand what will work for them, so they just try many things.
So No single coach, no single service provider, no single like provider of software or other types of like stuff. No one person in the world has all the answers, right? Like if someone tells you just do my system, it cannot fail, all you have to do is check the box, like be a little suspicious, because it's really, really hard to work somebody else's system that they've developed if they haven't developed it specifically for you. They don't know what's going on in your life. They don't know who your business contacts are. They may or may not even know what your goals are. So there's no one answer. And so I would be suspicious of that. That doesn't mean stay away from it necessarily. It means go in with reasonable expectations. Coaches or program providers can definitely help you move the like process and the development of your business along. But don't beat yourself up if the results aren't exactly what you thought they would be, because every person is different. And another thing is to be really clear. This is so important, is to be really clear with yourself, which is hard, about what your capacity is. Your capacity for work time during the day, your capacity for spending money on building systems, for hiring like a bookkeeper or an accountant, an assistant, whatever those things that you feel are, and your capacity to do different types of work, administrative work, the deep work that comes with, the skills that you provide or the services that you provide, and how much energy and time over the course of any given day to every month, every year, that you have to give to it, and what you expect to get back in return. So if it's like, I need to make this much money in order for this to be worth my time, that's one metric. But it's like, I also really need to be learning this or doing this kind of work. I really don't want to spend all of my day filling out invoices. I want to spend most of my day, meeting with clients or doing my art or whatever it is. Be really honest with yourself, because that will help you be critical when you think about who and what services make the most sense for you and what systems you need.
Thank you, Lizzie. And one more question. What do you think are the most important things to do for people who just start their business in for marketing?
Okay, well, it's similar. Definitely do a capacity check. People are going to say, we want you to post on Instagram. We want you to post on TikTok. We want you to post on Twitter. We want you to post here. We want you to do paid ad. We want you to do this. So like, what is your budget for marketing and how much time do you have? Would be that first critical question. And then I would think, what story do you want to tell about your product or services? Because if you just have an Instagram account and post things, like, people aren't going to resonate. You have to be telling a story. So figure out what that story is and break that story down and figure out what channel works best for which piece of your story, so that when you do these tasks, it doesn't feel like meaningless marketing, which is something I hear from people all the time. They're like, oh, I'm on Instagram, I'm posting on Twitter, I wrote a blog. What's the point? I'm like, well, the point is you are creating a brand that people can go to for all of these things, and you are giving a reason for your different customers to engage with you as more than a transactional service provider.
Mhm. And there are some different opinions about how many social networks people have to use. Some people, for example, like Grant Cardone, he says that just be omnipresent, just post everywhere and do it many times, just as his staff does more than 200 calls every day. Is like very aggressive approach. And some other experts tell that it is better just to choose one social media and just totally concentrate on that. So what is your opinion about this?
My opinion on it is very unrealistic for people to do 200 posts a day for most people, unless they have like enough money to hire a lot of other people to do it for them. But it really depends, right? Like I'm a person who does a lot of business to business sales. Like my clients are mostly businesses that want to sell directly to customers or to other businesses. Like I don't have the capacity financially to hire a videographer to make me a bunch of TikTok videos and like long form YouTube videos. I do have the capacity to be on LinkedIn and strategically connecting with people on LinkedIn and saying like, you're a business, I'm a business, here's what I can offer you. So I choose to use LinkedIn as a network, and then I use Instagram, which I enjoy because I enjoy that medium, to share a little bit more about the type of work I do and the person I am and the values I bring to my life and to my clients, because I feel strongly that I live my life and I run my business with the same foundational like ethics. So I post pictures of the volunteer work that I do and me with my friends as I travel the world, because I'm like, I believe in international like community building and in learning from people wherever I'm at, and being out of your comfort zone. I post that on my Instagram. And so usually when I meet business people, I say like, talk to me on LinkedIn or see my Instagram posts. And I would say I also use Instagram a lot. This is a long answer, to find people I feel are doing interesting things
Mhm.
all over the world. And I've gotten a couple of clients that way. It doesn't always start as a client relationship. Sometimes I'm just like, oh my gosh, I love that book you wrote, or the photos of your traveling are amazing to me. How do you do that? And I learn from them. That's why I talk about like community building. Something about the work they're doing resonates with me. And I reach out to them like person to person and say, like, that is so impressive. Thank you for sharing that story with me. And sometimes that turns into client relationships, and sometimes it just turns into friendships. And either way, I feel like I win.
Yes, yes, it's very great attitude. Yes, that not just consider social media and other people just as a target to sell them
Yeah.
what you have, but also be open to see what interesting they do. Yes, and be open to look at people not just as a sales target, but really as a human beings. Yes, who do something beautiful in life, and as you said, or books or travel, and connect on human yeah, like
On a
from
human
human
level,
being perception. Yeah.
one of the things that I do, and I don't know if this is really business, I think it informs my business, but it's a weird one, so people might not like it, is I try to find people on the internet whose lives are really different from mine. So parents who are raising children with disabilities, for example. I don't have any children. That's not an experience I've had. But hearing what they say and what they post makes me understand the needs that they have as a human, and be more sympathetic and understand how hard things can be. Or um, I like to look at little shop owners in different places of the world that I've never been to and see about like, oh, they're posting lots of pictures of cats because they have lots of stray cats there. Like, I make it a point to try to find people who live totally different lives than me. And sometimes there are people in my neighborhood, and I'm just like, wow, you are going through a totally different experience than me, but like, here's what I can learn from you. And I am a better person because I have heard from you. Um, so
Yeah, I love your attitude. It is amazing. Yes, just to be human being, be open to connect with people, learn about them. Yes, just think outside of box, not just like I am here on Instagram 15 minutes, I have to just sell or post, yes, for that person. But really, I think that initially these social networks, they the first goal is to connect people, is to know each other. And I see that now many people just use it just like robots, like became like robots. Like for on LinkedIn, for example, I just connected, like accepted request, and the person starts just sending me what he does and offers me that is not even relevant to me. Like, and I sometimes I just ask, would you just at least have a look at like what I do, so, before you send me your offer. Yes. And I like your approach that you're really looking for real people and interested in their life and something to learn, something new to learn every day. Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. I mean, and I also think that even if I don't get a sale or a business connection, I am a better business person for all of the things that I learn.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you so much, Lizzy. So, if there would be one thing before we wrap up, one thing that you would like to advise, and from your all experience from marketing, decision making, what would that be?
I mean, I think I've said it already, but stay curious. Be curious and open, and um, remember that curiosity can help you through tough times as an entrepreneur, and um, it can lead you to amazing places.
Yeah, great. And what we discussed about decision, that question your decisions. Yeah,
Yeah,
question
yeah.
the way how you make
Internally
this.
curious. Yeah.
Yes, question the way how you make decision, because the way you make decision is habitual. Yes, it is just the way how you were conditioned. So take time to study yourself and find out where it came from. Maybe it came from something happened in your childhood and it just went to subconscious mind and it programmed you to react or and do certain way. And you can analyze and see these decisions how they are related to results which you get. Because if you continue making the same decisions, you will get the same results. If
Yeah.
you are happy with your results, it is good. But if not, if you want to really improve your results and get yourself to the next level, question your decisions and maybe shift the way how you make, change approach, look at the situation from different point of views and start making it different. So you will start getting different results. Like Einstein told that it is insane to do the same things and expect
The
a
same
new
different
result.
result.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
It's a
mhm.
big thing and it can be really intimidating. So you don't need to like throw everything you've ever thought out the window, but just try to like make like one question one thing and try to imagine if it were different and like see how you can feel confident um without feeling you are suddenly like as I know how intimidating can be if you say like, oh, I have to now start questioning my whole life. Nah, just be like, I usually schedule these meetings here. Is that because it's the best time for me to be having these meetings? Or is that because somebody once told me that this was a good time for meeting and I've always done it, but I actually have more energy at a different time of day or whatever it is. Like,
Yes, exactly. Listen to yourself because the greatness which you are looking for is looking for you and it is already in you. We have already so many studies show that we have DNA which is perfect, but it is buried under so many viruses, limiting beliefs, so many things which were put on us since we were small children, that perfection seems difficult to show up. And so we had to study ourselves and get rid of all those imperfections, all these limiting beliefs, and start listening more ourselves. As you said, that when is the best time for you? When you feel more energetic, then do the most things which are the most priority for you,
yeah,
because you will have the most productivity, and it is different for other people, right? And the way how you make decision also should start from your goal, really what you want. It's because some people make decision from lack and limitation, or
Yeah.
fear and doubt, and it is never a good decision. You
No.
always should make decision from where you want to be, like what you will get. Yes, to get it from the place of empowered you, not person who is scared or feels inferior. Yes, like because the way how you make decision, it will determine the results, because it is all energy and you have to take decision from empowered yourself, like from that high version of yourself which you see already yourself in the future.
I agree. And like, I don't want to, I know we've gone for a long time and I don't want to be boring here, but I will say that in my experience, when I'm feeling nervous, and all entrepreneurs feel nervous. Like anybody who says like I'm perfect all the time, I know it's always going to work for me. I show up every day feeling like $1,000,000. Mm-mm. Um, they're either lying to themselves or they're lying to you. Is that I find that when I need to feel empowered or when I need to feel unstuck, right? Like because I'm thinking there's not a really good way forward for me here, that's when I try to really intentionally focus on curiosity. So instead of thinking I'm stuck, I try to say if I could imagine it differently, what could that what could it be and who can I invite into this conversation?
Yes, and who can I ask help for,
Yeah.
right? Because asking help, it is not the a weakness, it is the strength, because you see yourself as a positive and open for different ideas person, and it is strength when you look for help because you're determined to success. Yes, and you do whatever it takes to get there. And if you need advice, if you need help, you're ready to be receiving. Yes, to be open to receive. This is very important.
Yeah, it's not always help. It's sometimes collaboration, right? And like sometimes it's help. Sometimes you like I say like I don't know how to do this. Can someone help me? But sometimes I go to people and say, I'm stuck here. I can't think of a better way to do it. If you were to collaborate with me, what would you think on this? And then everybody benefits. So we all become part of that conversation.
Exactly. Mastermind is so powerful. And yes, it is another tip which comes just to hear that in get yourself in the circle of people who are successful, who have big goals as you, and meet them for mastermind. Find a way how to be helpful to them. So when you offer your help, you will get in the circle, and then they will also invite you. So look always for people who are more successful than you, because five people who you speak with and who you surround yourself will determine who you will become. Thank you so much, Lizzie. It was amazing conversation. I enjoyed, and I'm sure that people who listen to us will also find so much benefit in it. Thank you
I
so
so
much, and I'm looking forward to see you again in our future episodes.
yeah.